And straight up starting with breaking news coming in from Turkey, where the Turkish Defense Ministry has informed of airstrikes that were launched by it over northern regions of Syria and Iraq, targeting the Kurdish groups that the country has reportedly determined is responsible for last week's bomb attack in Istanbul. So the airstrikes that were launched by Turkey on Syria and Iraq, this of course after last week, there were bombings, in fact, this after the bombings in Istanbul. So the airstrikes that were launched by Turkey in northern and northeastern Syria overnight, primarily positions held by Syrian Kurdish forces, were targeted by the Turkish forces that killed at least 31 people, is what we are given to understand. So the Turkish airstrikes that targeted the Syria regions, which included the northern regions, which has also led to 31 deaths at least. And we have Aarti Dikhu Singh also joining us on the phone line. Ma'am, good morning. If I can get your thoughts on these airstrikes that were launched by Turkey, do you think that it was very much in the offing, given the Istanbul bombings that happened last week?
Absolutely. It was quite clear from President Erdogan's press conference at G20 summit in Indonesia, where he warned everyone who was aligned with terror groups against Turkey, and he gave an indication that there will be retribution and there will be no tolerance for terrorism in Istanbul or any part of Turkey. Now you see, the Turkish president also refused to accept any condolences from the US for the recent terror attack in Istanbul. And it has been quite clear from the Turkish administration that the US support for the YPG group, which is actually a group which was fighting in Syria against Daesh, that is ISIS, and that group has been backed by the United States. Turkey has always accused the US of fighting, using the pretext of its war against Daesh, and in the process also helping PKK, which is actually a Kurdish force which is alongside YPJ fighting against Daesh. Now, this was a warning both against the US. Mind you, Turkey is also a member of NATO. Turkey also shares a very good relationship with Russia. In fact, at the G20 summit, Erdogan was also very supportive of President Putin, and he said that he believed the Russian version on the recent strikes in Poland. And in fact, he was quite clear that between Russia and the United States, he was more inclined towards Russian version on Poland. Now, given the entire situation, it is quite clear the airstrikes that Turkey has launched against terror groups in just last night, it is quite clear that President Erdogan has the support of both the United States and Russia, because they use the airspace for which they might have sought permission from both the US and Russia.
Yes. Ma'am, my next question to you, what is exactly the end game when we talk about these airstrikes, the bombings which have been happening for the last couple of years? And also, if you can talk more on why are these airstrikes that were launched by Turkey being called as India-like surgical strikes?
Well, absolutely. This is quite somewhat similar like the Indian airstrikes on Balakot after the Pulwama terror attack, if you remember. And, Kurdish forces have been seeking freedom from Turkey, and there is a movement for separate Kurdistan, parts of which are in Syria and parts of which are in Turkey. And Turkey is now, I think, making it very clear that there is no possibility of having a separate Kurdistan. There will be no tolerance for groups like PKK who've been seeking freedom from Turkey. And quite clearly, the NATO and especially the United States also seems to be in agreement with Turkey's demand. I think Turkey is not going to let Kurdistan become a reality, and
Yes.
they have the approval of the United States and also NATO, and that is why this airstrike is very, very significant, also somewhat very similar to the Balakot airstrike, following which India actually, revoked 370 and completely and fully integrated Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India. So
Well,
I think
yes.
it's an indicator that that Turkey today has the support of the global powers to basically dismantle the freedom movement for Kurdistan.
All right. Thank you for giving us your perspective. So that was Aarti Tiku Singh, journalist, speaking to Republic, saying that it is a strong message, a warning of sorts that has been sent out by Turkey with these airstrikes that were launched over northern regions of Syria and Iraq. The Turkish Defense Ministry, in fact, has stated targeting the Kurdish groups that Ankara holds responsible for last week's bomb attack in Istanbul. In fact, warplanes even attacked bases of the outlawed Kurdish Workers' Party and the Syrian People's Protection Units. Here's a full report.
Turkey launched deadly airstrikes over northern regions of Syria and Iraq. The Turkish Defense Ministry targeted Kurdish groups that Ankara holds responsible for last week's bomb attack in Istanbul. The ministry said in a statement that warplanes attacked bases of the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party or PKK and the Syrian People's Protection Units or YPG. Footage released by Turkish Defense Ministry showed bombs with victims of attacks conducted with F-16 jets taking off and footage of a strike from an aerial drone. The ministry cited Turkey's right to self-defense under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter in launching an operation it called Claw Sword. Syrian Kurdish officials have alleged civilian deaths from the air attacks. The airstrikes came after a bomb rocked a bustling avenue in the heart of Istanbul on November 13th, killing 6 people and wounding over 80. Turkish authorities blamed the attack on the PKK and the Syrian affiliate, the YPG. However, the Kurdish militant groups had denied any involvement. Ankara and Washington both consider PKK a terror group, but disagree on the status of YPG. Under the banner of the Syrian Democratic Forces, the YPG has been allied with US in the fight against the Islamic State group in Syria. Agency report for Republic TV.